Hey up guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to the channel. You are with me, the Autistic Biker. So basically this is just a complete bonkersly random ride out really. You know what holds no importance or all like that. There's no like significance, you know, importance to it and all like that. So just a ride out. So yeah, basically it's just we'll just have a ride out. We'll just see what we see and come across. One thing I just do want to say actually, in terms of all the various different business ideas that I've had on my channel, you know, that I've had from my brain, that I've put out there on my channel, is one thing I will say that I do just want to say, you know, just to get it over and done with out of the way, is I just want to say, with all like the business ideas that I've actually had, you know, out there on my channel, I know that I've already mentioned this before, but I do just want to just reiterate it, repeat and go over it again, because it is important to me. Do you know what I mean? Let's say for example, if any of the business ideas that I've had from my head have either already been thought of before, at least tried and tested but failed, or even thought of, tried and tested and succeeded, and they're even out there now to this day right now as we speak, and someone's made, you know, quite a good comfortable cushy living off one of them. But what I mean is, even without even watching any of my videos, so in other words, they've thought about this totally themselves from their own head, and it's not been through watching any of my videos. So basically, you know, I just want to say, you know, just coming from me, that even if they've been thought of, you know, succeeded or not, tried and tested out before or not, I just want to say that what I thought of, honestly, I have not pinched from anywhere, from any source, to sum it up in a nutshell, from any source, in any way, shape or form. Whether if that just be anything. To sum it up in a nutshell, that's it, say no more. Even if it's me, shall I say, playing catch up. So even if it's me playing catch up, and they've already been thought of before by some other attempting or even successful entrepreneur, businessman or woman, and they've made a go at it or all like that, at least I can say, honestly, hand on heart, just so you know, they've honestly if I'm playing catch up, then fair enough, I'm playing catch up, but they've all come, honestly, completely, totally, entirely, you know, from my own head. I've not like stole them or robbed them from anyone else in any once upon a time in my life, at any given time, from any source, and from any, you know, from any country, just anywhere in the world. They've all just come, honestly, legitimately, just totally off my own back, from my own accord, you know. So yeah, that's just what I really just wanted to say, just to get out there, you know. Oh, so yeah. Oh, so yeah. So yeah, let's just carry on rolling, carry on going, riding, wheels turning, and then just let's see what we see, what we come across to bring up all that's worth bringing up, mentioning for when we see it, if we see it, whatever that may be. Let's continue it. Bonkersly random, just day out, ride out, I mean. I do. I thought of something right mad the other day, right bonkersly mad. Yeah, and talk about randomness and all. So you know, a few days ago, if not, I think it might have been a week or something like that. Nah, we'll just say a week, give or take, from the date of me recording this video. Do you know what I mean? So basically, yeah. The NTA were on telly, weren't it? The National Television Awards. Can you imagine if, like, they were sort of like an NTA, you know, same style of effect and everything, for motovloggers and motovlogger slash content video creators, motovlogger slash, you know, influencers, whatever. As long as you have got you know, an action camera and you're recording anywhere on your bike, your helmet, or you like a body harness, or, and as long as you are, you know, riding a bike, you're talking, you're motovlogging, you're making videos in whatever style, way, shape or form, basically, you know, and you've got a YouTube channel, you know, you name it. Yeah, how good would that be? Can you imagine? Like, you know, like once a year or something, like an annual thing. You know, like the motovloggers annual, like, fine dining awards ceremony night, awards night ceremony, or something like that. You know what I mean? You know, for it to sort of like be really, you know, like hosted and planned and thought of properly and everything, you know what I mean? You've got like quite a big stage, you've got tables and chairs, you know what I mean? And we've got like our own little thing going on, like in our own little bubble, our own little world. Do you know what I mean? And it's like an annual, like I said, annual, once a year sort of thing, and there's certain like awards to do with certain categories in which the, you know, every nominee through nominations are up for and stuff like that. Like the best motovlogger who is the best, most, you know, rated and counted motovlogger who is mostly good at this, and then mostly good at that, mostly good at X, mostly good at, you know, X, Y, Z, and you can have like different, like what I mean is different awards, you know, for like different things and stuff like that. get our own sort of like little, you know, nice reward and, you know, award ceremony going on and stuff, and like a posh fine dining event or something. An annual, like once a year, like one-off nice night. It's all proper like orchestrated and planned properly and thought of properly and stuff. But what I mean is, it's important for me to mention, I don't know why I feel this is important, I don't know why I do, I can't put my finger on it, but to me it's important to mention. But I don't mean for it to be on telly, I mean for it to sort of like only be a sort of like still very professionally, like in 4K proper like recorded. Obviously it won't be put on telly. I didn't mean for it to be put like on one of main proper like TV channels. I mean just like have our own sort of like little bubble, little world, our own little thing going off inside our sends and stuff, that, you know, that really count and matter to us and stuff, and, you know, you name it, stuff like that. Only for it to sort of like be, you know, recorded and viewed and aired and shown. Yeah, just basically just on YouTube, basically YouTube only. You could call it the national, and then A for annual, or annually, you know. So the NA, the national annually, or the annual national, AN. M obviously for motor vlogging, or motor vloggers, motovlogger, or motovlog. So AN or NA, the national annual or annual national motovloggers or motovlogging. Go on. Yeah. Do. And then A, just awards. You can't really put like T for television, because it won't be on normal television. They just wouldn't do that, would they? But yeah, you know, something titled, you know, initial stood for, and titled like that, so to speak. I don't know if there's actually one for motorcycle instructors. So, you know, like if you are a motorcycle instructor, if there's like an awards ceremony, like award night event, you know, that you can go to and stuff, you like, in other words, you get sort of like called, you get like called upon, you get called up, I mean, called up, or, you know, invited, if you like. That's a much more better word for it, innit? To actually turn up and go to like a motorcycle instructors awards night, you know. You get like invited, called up by the DVSA. It's all like organised and stuff, planned and crewed and orchestrated by the DVSA, you know. So I don't know. Nah, I don't want to go to Penny Pot Cafe today. That sun is blinding. I bet video, you know, action camera footage does it no justice. But you know, when it's been raining, as you all know, and then when sun's out and the sun rays, you know, they hit that wet patching road and it just absolutely glimmers your bloody eyeballs out your sockets. Let this van past. You're welcome, matey, no problem. That were nice for him though, it goes a long way. Is that decency? To, you know, I pulled over for him so I've scratched his back. He scratched my back by putting hazards on to say thank you. It goes a long way. It goes a long way that if you just appreciate someone, thank someone. It really does, it really does. Yeah, again, it'll do it no justice, action camera footage, but look at that view. Yeah, I do hope you guys I love to see that, just a family having a picnic, but somewhere absolutely just completely bonkersly random. Just a family having a picnic, I love that. Yeah, I hope you guys, as many of you as possible, do like my new, it's relatively fairly new, you know, my new logo that I've made through AI. It's been AI generated through Filmora 13. Logo, the Autistic Biker logo to my YouTube channel, and also I do hope you like my 30-second intro. It's the first intro ever, not just only like my latest one, but first intro ever that I've actually put onto my YouTube channel. So to put on at the start of every video before a proper video starts on my channel. It's a 30-second one. Basically, I've used my logo generated by AI using Filmora 13, and what I've done is I've just like put over it just like some shredding, you know, like shredding riff. You fucking idiot. You don't do that, you fucking idiot, here on a road like this. Oh, what's the hold up? Oh dear. Oh yes, I think it's obvious. Here we go, that's turned off now. I think we can get moving just that little bit more faster now, if I'm honest. I know that sounded a bit sarcastic when I said that, but I don't mean to, it didn't mean at all to come out like that to sound sarcastic. I don't like sarcasm, I don't do sarcasm. And just for today, I am not going to take that right. I'm not taking that right. Today I'm actually going to go past. I want to touch upon Monsell Head actually. Yeah, you're in mood. You're in mood for what you're in mood for, aren't you? On the day, at that moment in time, to go to and, you know, stick to do certain, you know, specific routes. So I just weren't in mood for cutting rate then. I'm in mood for, like, you know, touching Monsell Head on right, and then not going straight on, but, you know, taking that left, basically more or less like bang opposite where that give way to Monsell Head is. You'll know what I mean when we reach it, when we get there. don't pull out, don't pull out, stay there, stay there, stay there. You as well, red car, Mr. Red, Mrs. Red. Yep, stay there, and I don't care what you do now. Look at you, big blue thing. Yeah, I wouldn't like to, you know, take you on. there, look, coming up. The monster lead. I don't know if I mentioned this on one of my, you know, other previous videos, but my nana were telling me that she used to go there, to that actual specific place though, to that actual thing there, you know, like where you're right high up and then you're looking out onto Monsell Head and that over Monsell Head or whatever. She used to go there in the 60s, even all the way as far back as that, 60s, and same as Matlock as well. She, when I say Matlock, I mean on the actual, you know, like the famous actual Matlock strip, you know, where Fish Ponds pub is, and basically where everything is, and all, you know, all arcades and chippies and stuff like that, Riverside Chippy and stuff. Yeah, she used to go on Matlock strip. And that place, that specific place at Monsell Head, even in 60s, all the way back then. But when I say that, what is even more interesting is she actually, I'm sure she said, this might not have been the case for Monsell Head, but yet again it might have, but surely definitely for the case of Matlock, up Matlock strip in the 60s. Yeah, she used to actually be quite a biker chick, me nan did. She honestly used to be quite the biker chick in the 60s. She went, I don't think she actually rode one herself, but what I'm saying is she used to go on back of somebody's. But I don't know who that were, I don't know. So just think where my feet have actually been, where, you know, where I've actually stood foot, taking up a couple of few, like, inches at least at a time, right? Just think, as like a flashback memory that I hold in my, well, that I try to imagine in my head, you know, that's going off in my head. She, like, her feet, her shoes, you know what I mean, she could have actually been there, stood right there at that moment in time in the 60s. Little did she know that come like from 2018 and onwards, 2018 and onwards, all the way from the 60s, little did she know, and little did even I know, because I weren't even thought of even being born, but little did I know, especially me, but even her, that I could have even actually been there at any time. To do with all the amount of times I've been to Matlock and stuff, I could have been like in her sort of like aura, in her like previous presence, if that makes sense, exactly where she was stood. I'll tell you something else and all, to do with just what my brain thinks and how it is and how it thinks and how it goes and stuff like that. I won't even say sometimes, I say all the time actually, I don't know, but I don't know, but I don't know what it's all about, but just think, she could have just like touched a certain particular type of, I don't know, stone or rock, or even like a metal bar or something as like a barrier that's been there since 60s. Anything at all she might have touched that's been there since 60s, and then me being totally oblivious to it and on the wiser, I've gone and touched it with my fingers, in other words with my DNA. So my fingerprints and my DNA is on that object, is on that material, exactly where like my nana might have touched, but I didn't even know it. You know what I mean? Just are like very throwing you off in a sort of like very weird way. Is that though? Do you know what I mean? To think like that. I don't know. It's a funny one. It's a funny, peculiar one. Very funny and very peculiar. It sure is. I don't know what you'd call that, but yeah. And we're about to go into a 30 very shortly, and then basically, yeah, we're in Bakewell, but Bakewell properly. I don't know what all that were about. I don't know if he did it on purpose at me. For whatever reason, I do not know if he did it at me or for me, whatever. But it quite frightened me. It shit me up, that noise, if I'm honest. So he must have pulled clutch in. Well, not pulled it in because he was driving a car, but he must have pressed clutch in and then revved. You know, obviously it pressed with his right foot. You know, accelerator, just so it didn't shoot forward, and then shit me up, and then that's it. That's only if it were at me, aimed at me, for me, whatever. I don't know. Right guys, I am going to leave it there. Alright. Because I've decided by me going left straight on at that roundabout to come to here where we are now, and instead of going right as if I were going to Matlock, I thought about not going to Matlock, hence the reason why I didn't go right at roundabout. I thought about just gonna put bike back away where it's kept. So yeah, you've seen all this a million dozen times before on more than enough of my videos. You've seen this road route, you know, this route, everything, same old buildings, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. Yeah, so I'm going to end it there. Thanks for watching. You've been with me, the Autistic Biker. Remember, if you are riding, ride safe. Watch out for them other idiots out there on that road. Alright guys, see you later, take care, bye bye.